Hello, Galaxy! I'm Chris Pirillo, and you're watching the Locker Room Daily Report, or TLDR for short. I'm streaming live every night with the rest of the community geeking out about one thing or another over on Twitch. Feel free to join us tonight, if you are so inclined, or any night of the week, because we're there. Today, I'm going to give you my review, a full review, of the Pixel 6 Pro, or as I've called it, the Pastel 6 Pro, and I will tell you, unlike most reviewers, I'm going to tell you I'm not a reviewer. I suck at doing reviews. I'm good at taking in experiences and sharing my experiences, and more often than not, I pay more attention to the software than the hardware. So if you're interested in a hardware review and a spec sheet, you probably are never, ever going to be interested in listening to anything that I have to say. But if you're interested in talking about the software experience, and then, of course, how the hardware supports it, in general, to give you an overarchingly good experience, then you definitely want to listen. So the Pixel. This is the first Pixel device that I've ever purchased that I got and did not want to start using immediately. Not because, it wasn't potentially viable. It's just that as I started to use it more and more, my initial impressions stuck. And I will tell you that the Pixel 6 Pro has by and large been a disappointment. Not for hardware, but for software. I'm not so sure Android 12 is fully baked. At least as far as the Pixel's concerned. Maybe 12L, right around the corner, will be better. I don't know. Maybe Android will be better 6 months from now, or Android 12, whatever iteration. It's entirely possible. I'm sitting here just telling you right now. I love the Pixel 2 XL. I love the Pixel 3 XL. I love the Pixel 4 XL. I switched to those devices immediately, like upgraded Pixel. Then after the 4 XL, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't want to do the 5. So I couldn't wait to come back to the Pixel. And then I came back to the Pixel, or tried to come back to the Pixel, because I love the Pixel experience. And the Pixel experience to me has never been about the hardware, it's been about the software. And that to me is what's been the disappointment. Though the hardware, of course, you'd imagine would be ample. I mean, the hardware itself, you know me, when it comes to fluidity, and that's one thing I will say for the Pixel experience. It's mostly fluid, with 120 frames per second pushing across the screen at any given moment. However, it is not free from tearing and judder or jank. And there's a lot of it, and it's pronounced, possibly more so with a higher refresh rate than at lower refresh rates, because there's not a lot of margin for visual error as far as that concerns, but that's concerned. But all the more reason why this type of experience needed to be optimized more in software, not the hardware. The hardware is just there to support or reinforce the software. The apps, when they launch, relatively snappy. No doubt about that. Click, tap, boom, 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 boom. It's a snappy experience. You can go in and out of things with relative ease. So long as you don't use a third-party launcher. You have to use the Pixel launcher, because third-party launchers are buggy with Android. All third-party launchers. With Android 11 and 12, it's been a problem, a standing problem with every single third-party launcher. Don't lecture me on your favorite third-party launcher, because I've probably heard about it, and I'm not interested, because they are buggy on Android, and they will be until Google fixes the problem. So as long as you're using the native launcher, things are generally snappy. You can whip in and out. You can even speed up animations, developer options, which you've probably already done on your current Android device. It's snappy. I'll say that. But, because I got to counter the inconsistent fluidity by saying that it is snappy. And we're talking about operations versus animations between those two. Notifications. I don't really like the design that Google implemented with Android 12. It's a little too bulbous for my taste. That's not something that I like. I don't like the way that they implemented app icons at all. And I don't just mean larger icons, I mean specifically app icons. For some reason or another, like certain apps like YouTube Studio, they have this weird coloring of the icon that's not the native icon, whereas other Android versions that I've used, it doesn't look the same way. And maybe that's a Pixel thing, maybe it's an Android 12 thing, I can't tell you. All I can tell you is that I just don't like how notifications look in Android 12. It's my choice. In terms of, let's get back to the launcher, really, before going into the photo output as I've got on my list in no particular order. the Pixel launcher is very bare bones. Like, it definitely gives Apple a run for its money in terms of bare bonesishness. Like, they're both very bare bones. Like, there's, like, little to no customization options at all whatsoever in the Pixel launcher. It's like they stripped away certain features in the Pixel launcher that used to be there. And whether they build those up or they're just going to keep it clean and straightforward, that's fine. It's just not for me. And I already have stated the certain issues, known issues with all third-party launchers. And unfortunately, even the Pixel launchers, the launcher itself is glitchy. Like, it's glitchy. Like, where icons appear and then they get stuck and you have to reboot the phone in order to clear them out. And, you know, you have to drag and drop and manually organize. And then the app drawers all alphabetized and you can't put them into folders. It's just so not fun for me at all. I do not like the Pixel launcher. Photo output, ample. I think with enough light, photo output's great. Selfie camera, great. Low light night sight shots, not as good as I would expect, or at least that I've experienced on the Pixel 4 XL. They're sharp, certainly, but I'm not sure if the algorithms have been tweaked for night sight yet on this particular camera. And then, of course, HDR. They've also made this step sideways with HDR, whereas it used to fire all the time. Now, half the time, it doesn't fire at all, which is really disappointing from a Pixel camera. It's one of the reasons I love the Pixel camera, because the HDR worked well. But as you saw in my photo demonstrations earlier this week, HDR does not work very well with the Pixel camera, which is one of the reasons why I'm not sure I could give it just this, you know, full recommendation as I have in the past. In fact, this is probably the first Pixel device that I couldn't necessarily say, yeah, absolutely. The Pixel 4 XL with Android 11 was better than the Pixel 6 Pro with Android 12. It's the software, people. It's the software. In fact, I would say it was better with Android 10, the Pixel 4 XL, than the Pixel 6 Pro with Android 12. It's all about the software to me. The amount of features, pretty full-featured, you know, for an Android device. Clean, simple, straightforward. You don't get a lot of fluff, and that's one thing that Google should be applauded on. I would like to see more Pixel features in Android, you know, for any user of Android, not just these Google Pixel users. And I'll get to some of that in just a second. But generally speaking, I think it's got enough features for the average person to be okay with. Fingerprint sensor, some people have had issues. I have not. I have to state that. It's been just as useful as any other in-display fingerprint sensor that I've ever had a chance to use. Thumbs up for that. A thumbs down, really, right? Thumbs down, get it? Polish, spit and polish. So this is the device I'm using now. This is the device I'm reviewing right now. And what I'm telling you is it needs... I feel the Pixel needs like 6 more months to bake. And I don't mean the hardware. Hardware is going to be the same. The software needs about 6 more months to bake. Possibly. So I'll be watching this with a close eye, holding on to it, of course, to compare with other contemporary flagships as they happen to be released over the course of the next year. But you know, that's the thing. I'm not sure it's got a lot of spit and polish. In terms of customization, not a lot going on here. Thank you, Jedi. I appreciate it. So thank you, honey. I got to finish it. That's Emperor Palpatine's throne room, honey. Honey, I have to continue this. Thank you. Thank you. I'll show it to you in a bit. We just showcased that on the live video. But remember, I appreciate the water, but I got to continue with this review. When you're doing a live video, sometimes you got to roll with the punches. I'm trying to stay as focused as I possibly can on this. In terms of spit and polish, I'm not sure it's there. Give it 6 months. In terms of customization, it's not there. Like, there's, like, virtually no customization to be done. It's not just bare bones Android. It's like there are certain things that you would want to customize that you just can't anymore on the Pixel, which makes the Android OEMs stand out even more. And potentially, hopefully, they will double down on the additions that they place on top of Android, making Android a better experience, as I discovered, at least with Samsung over the course of the past 6 months. Nav Bar, something I've got to comment on because it's annoying. I don't like the Nav Bar at all. I don't want to see it. And the reason why is because, A, I already know what's down there. I know how to do the gesture thing. I don't need the hints at all because it's inconsistent, wildly inconsistent between apps. That's a problem because it creates inconsistency design-wise. In one app, it's a white background. In another app, it's a transparent background. In another app, it's a black background. In another app, it's a dark gray background. And then in the task switcher, all the bottom part, and I hate the task switcher, by the way, the full screen grabs, can't stand it. I use Good Lock on Samsung just to set them as chiclets. Customization. I can't stand the full screen. I can't task switches quickly. And so everything just becomes wildly inconsistent and not customizable at all. And just, it's death by 1,000 cuts. It's one issue that I have with it on top of another. So I don't like the nav bar. Can't hide it. It's a frustration. Dark mode. Okay, this is where I have to put down the phone and say dark mode. It's darkish mode. Now to me, dark mode is full black. AMOLED black. Black, 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 black. Dark, black, dark, black, dark, dark, black. That's dark mode. This is kind of grayish light mode. That's the dark mode here. So after I've gotten used to a true dark mode, as in a black dark mode, it's almost impossible to go back. So I've been spoiled by true dark mode. So I did not like the dark mode. Phone features, didn't have a lot of chance to exercise them. Didn't decide to switch to this device, and for all the aforementioned reasons. But I would love to have some of the phone features that Google's baked into the phone app only available on the Pixel. You can use the phone app on other Android devices, but because it's locked into the Pixel experience, like the call waiting or the what is it? Call on hold. What's it called? They've got certain where you could call into a company, be put on hold, and then it will actually hold for you and then ring you when they've picked up on the other end. So that's nice. They've added those types of features to make phone calls better. Visual voicemail, I absolutely miss as well. It was always easier on the Pixel than it has been on any other Android device, which is sad. So the phone features, I gotta say a thumbs up. Unfortunately, this is more than just a phone. It's a lot more than a phone. Did I mention in the things that I hate, I cannot stand this lock screen. I cannot stand it. I don't like this type of clock. And you can turn it off. You can turn off, but then why have an always on display? You can't use it. I hate this clock, and you can't customize it. It's just two. You get 2 digits, and I don't want 2 digits, one on top of the. Okay, death by 1,000 cuts. The prospect of anybody using this, I think, is high, but I'll come to that when I go into who this is for. The prospect for me switching to this is very, 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 very low, incredibly low, because I have not liked the software experience. Being a software enthusiast, I don't like the software experience on the Pixel, which is what it was all about for me, including and all the way down to the system font. I don't like the system font. It's okay. It's fine what Google's gone with, but honestly, I kind of got used to the Samsung font. I've used other system fonts that I feel are bolder. I feel have more definition to them. The Pixel font is a little too lightweight for me. It's my choice. Overarching experience, it's okay. I give it a B for experience, but I don't want a B experience. I want an A- experience, or at least a B+ experience in my book, as far as software is concerned. But it's okay. It's fine. I don't think there's something that you should be concerned about if you're interested in it. That leads me to one of my last points, not just switchability, but value. I love that Google has priced it in a more affordable way than compared to other flagships, which will hopefully drive prices down for everybody. I don't know if Google offers enough competition with that. But still, I think it would potentially be a tremendous value for anybody interested in the 6 Pro, not necessarily the 6, but certainly the 6 Pro, because I would love to see prices continue to come down. So who is this for? Pixel diehards. Like, if you're a diehard Pixel, like you love the Pixel, then you're probably going to love this. I don't know. I used to love the Pixel. Used to, until I used this. And then I'm like, I don't know if I consider myself a Pixel fan right now. Haven't been since the 4XL. So the Pixel may have lost me. It could get me back. I'm looking for a good software experience. But who's it for? Pixel diehards. Yeah, that's who I would say it's for. Who's it not for? Software enthusiasts, I think, would have a problem with this. People looking for a fluid Android experience would probably have a problem with this. People looking for a customizable Android experience, because remember, they're all like, oh, I use Android because it's customizable. They're not talking about the Pixel, that's for sure. If you're satisfied with your current range of device or your OEM, you're not interested in this device. I really don't think you are. I think the Pixel device was built for other Pixel users. Otherwise, who is it for? I genuinely do not know. I've been asking people, like, who is the Pixel for? Who are they trying to win over? I think iPhone users are happy with what they have. I think Samsung users are happy with what they have. Like, I don't know who they're trying to win over with this. And hopefully they will. Hopefully they'll find an audience. I hope they understand that software is the thing that made many of us appreciate the Pixel. Good to have solid hardware, but I really do miss the software experience. And if there was something to underscore everything I laid there today, it's that. And that's the reason why switchability for me is very, very, very low. I'm not even sure. I mean, I would switch from a Pixel 4 XL with Android 12 to a Pixel 6 Pro. Hello, better hardware, but the same software. But, like, it's not as easy to recommend a Pixel right now. It isn't for me. That's my perspective. Of course, we're all biased. I'm biased. You're biased. We're all biased. But I hope the Pixel software gets better. I will say that. I do hope it gets better. I really do, because I paid money for this device and I want it to be as good as it possibly can be, and I'm not so sure I've felt that to this point.